500 miles south of the equator, 1,000 miles northeast from Papeete, the Marquesas Islands are the farthest from any continent as any on Earth. The point was not lost on Paul Gauguin. The native peoples of the South Pacific were once fierce warriors, and whether living in New Zealand, the Marquesas, Tahiti, or Hawaii, often describe their common ancestors as Maori. Heavily tattooed, frankly cannibalistic, the early Marquesians were an intimidating bunch. Tribes lived isolated in deep, nearly inaccessible valleys between steep cliffs and mountain peaks, their ritual sites dotting the jungles and hillsides.
It's very, very old.
He made in 200 before Jesus Christ.
200 BC?
Yes.
Some of the best preserved of those sites can be found on Hiva Oa. My Marquesian friend Temetai takes me to Ipona, the biggest site on the island.
This is the platform for the meeting. And you have the priest, the king, and the warrior. When you have a sacrifice, the priest make a fire on this place. And the people to live around the site see the fire, and it's forbidden to come on this place.
The word taboo came from
Yes.
Polynesian.
It's taboo. Huh? And in front you have the tiki. Huh? His name is Takai.
This one right
Yes, 2.43 meters. Huh?
And this tiki at almost 8 feet is the largest of its kind in all of French Polynesia.
So a tiki is just either a very important person or a god.
Yes,
This is a representation of a real person, the chief
Yes.
of the tribe.
of the tribe.
European explorers brought diseases that eventually wiped out 98% of the population. And the missionaries who followed on systematically destroyed or obliterated their culture.
The missionaries didn't like this at all, because this was the older religion
Yes.
that they were trying very hard to replace very quickly. So they knocked the heads off.
Yes, cut the head, and the other cut the sex.
They cut the penis off as well, I see.
Before you have big sex.
That would drive them crazy. That had to go.
They found the local practices, well, a little too uninhibited for their taste. And the cannibalism thing did not go down well.
When the missionary arrived here, they have a lot of missionary go to the cooking.
Oh, yeah, they went into the cooking pot.
Yes.
But there was a lot more to the Marquesians than just shocking the delicate sensibilities of the missionary. Its first settlers were seafaring people, master navigators believed to have arrived as early as 300 AD. Marquesians and their descendants went on to settle almost all of Western Polynesia, including Hawaii, Tahiti, and Easter Island. From the creation of the tattoo to the many examples of carved stone and wood idols, the Marquesians have an ancient and distinctive tradition of decorative art. So Temetai has brought me out to meet his friend Maurice. He and his son continue this centuries-old Marquesian tradition.
This music is still played, the drums.
The drums, big drums, yes.
The big drums, yes. And what's that stretched over the top? Animal skin?
Now it's goat, but before it's shark skin.
Shark skin.
Maurice displays an impressive example of an art form Polynesia became famous for.
There's the warrior tattoos.
Yes.
For Marquesians, tattoos are like an identity card. The symbolic designs say, I am a chief, a fisherman, a warrior, an artist. I am from this clan or this island. These are my accomplishments.
So Papa, his father have the same, and his grandfather have
And
the
grandfather also.
Yes.
Excellent. They're very cool. They're really good, very fun looking. I've seen some of the older Maori in New Zealand with very
same.
similar.
Here it's same Maori, huh? It's Maori in the face, huh?
Yeah.
This is where the tattoo, as we know it anyway, was born. Brought back by impressed sailors and adapted to the broken hearts and top-hatted skulls that are our history. I'm feeling inspired, and it's a good thing I'm in the company of a tattoo expert. Temetai offers to give me a traditional Marquesian tattoo.
Just tiki?
You could incorporate a tiki head.
A tiki head.
Up to you. Show me what you think.
The original tattoos were made by literally hammering on needle-packed combs to create the design. Boys were tattooed as part of the initiation into manhood, and for the son of a chief, the process could take 3 to 4 weeks. So I'll gladly deal with relatively little discomfort.
Anthony,
Yeah.
how you drink a beer? Yes?
Do, yeah.
You see in the nair.
Yeah. Apparently I twitched. He looks at me and says, have you been drinking beer? I said, what, am I bleeding out or something? What's going on here? He said, no, the nerve, you're twitching. You're screwing up my lines.
Fortunately, Temetai's such a pro, even my beer-induced twitch can't keep him from giving me a kick-ass Marquesian tattoo.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. Very, very Marquesian style. Beautiful work. That's really beautiful.
Properly inked and ready for some local fare, Temetai and I head out for a lunch date. Island legend Marie Antoinette has invited me to share some home-cooked treats with her and family at her house nearby. Marie Antoinette's airy seaside home is surrounded by indigenous breadfruit, starfruit, and banana trees. They grow abundantly throughout French Polynesia, reminding one of all the times here that I've heard, when we are hungry, we take what we need. It seems as if all the indicators of a good meal are present.
Everything on this island, as soon as you just reach and it's there.
Venez manger.
Coconut goat curry, fried breadfruit, wild boar with vegetables, stewed banana and tapioca and coconut milk, and of course, poisson cru.
Typical Marquesian.
Typical Marquesian.
Nothing French here, but the common language.
Sucré, hein?
Right.
Sucré, poisson cru. Good.
Excellent.
Depuis tout à l'heure, il a...
In her inimitable way, this magnificent grandma supplies us to the bursting point with Marquesian delicacies.
Oh, I'm a happy man. Very tender. Nice.
C'est bon, hein?
Superbe. Merci bien pour le repas. Extraordinaire. Merci.
Si ça vous plaît, ça me fait plaisir. Surtout Marie-Ange qui a fait la cuisine avec bon cœur.
Compris. Merci.
And while her generous spirit is relatively easy to come by on these islands, the quality of her food is uniquely her own. Well fed and freshly tattooed, I mount up and ride through dense jungle, along twisting ridges that snake along above the valleys of the island's interior. And I see what others have seen and written about in the stories I read as a child. And I begin, I think, to understand a little what they must have felt, to see this place back then for the first time.
I'm liking this. Incredible wonderland of fruit and food ready at hand here. Papayas, tamarinds, bananas, coconuts, chili peppers. What?
Lot of fruit.
A lot of fruit right there.
At one time, these forests supported a population 100 times bigger than it is today. And you can still feel the presence of those fiercely tattooed warriors in the valley.
Oh, look at that.
In his memoirs, Captain Cook wrote about how disturbed he was by the sight of stone sacrificial platforms and evidence of cannibalistic rituals. Presumably, he was even more disturbed when he was later thrown in the cook pot himself on the sister island of Hawaii.
Attends, maman, nous pouvons... Hole for prisoner.
For prisoners.
Our guide, Paco, points out another disturbing relic from those not-so-good old days. A man trap, a conveniently deep pit for the victorious tribal chief to keep his prisoners until dinner or the ritual sacrifice, whichever came first.